Welcome to Creepytalks, where hidden fears come alive through chilling horror tales. Dare to listen as every story pulls you deeper into the darkness. Story 1. The House That Knew Our Names. When we bought the house, it felt like we had won something. A two-story colonial at the edge of town, fresh paint, polished hardwood floors, huge windows overlooking a line of dead trees that stood like silent witnesses. The realtor mentioned the previous owners had left in a hurry. That should have been the first warning. 1. The first night we moved in on a Thursday. By midnight, every box was still unpacked. My wife Hannah and our 6-year-old son Arav were exhausted. I remember turning off the lights and standing in the hallway. The house had that new smell, paint and dust. But underneath it, there was something else, something damp, like earth, like a basement that had never fully dried. At 2:13 a.m., I woke up. I didn't know why at first. Then I heard it, a slow creak, not like wood settling, like a deliberate step. Above us, the attic. We didn't have anything stored up there. I nudged Hannah. "Did you hear that?" She was already awake. We both listened. Another step, slow, dragging, then silence. "Rats," I whispered, but I didn't believe it, because rats don't pause like they're listening back. 2. The name. The next morning, Arav refused to go upstairs alone. "There's someone up there," he said quietly. "There's no one upstairs," Hannah told him. "He knows my name." We froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. Arav's eyes were glassy. "He said it last night." My stomach tightened. "What exactly did he say?" He looked down at his cereal bowl. He said, "Arav, don't sleep." 3. The door that wouldn't stay closed. That afternoon, I checked the attic. Nothing, just empty space, exposed beams, insulation. But I noticed something strange. The attic door didn't latch properly. It would close, but it wouldn't stay closed. That night, I made sure it was shut tight. I even placed a chair under the handle. At 3:07 a.m., I woke again, not from a sound, from a feeling, like someone was standing beside the bed, watching. I opened my eyes, nothing. But the hallway light was on. I always turned it off. My heart began to race. I stepped into the hallway. The chair was still there, but the attic door was open, wide open, and something was dripping, dark, thick, from the edge of the frame. 4. The smell of soil. The dripping wasn't blood, it was mud, wet black soil. It pooled onto the hardwood floor. I climbed into the attic, my hands shaking. The insulation was disturbed. There were marks, dragging marks, as if something heavy had been pulled across the beams. Toward the far corner, I moved closer. The smell grew stronger. Earth, rot, and something metallic. I knelt down and saw it. The insulation had been peeled back. Underneath was wood that looked newer than the rest of the house, a square patch, like something had been sealed. 5. The neighbors. The next day I spoke to our neighbor, Mr. Iqbal, an old man who'd lived there for 30 years. When I mentioned the previous owners, his face went pale. "You didn't check?" he asked. "Check what?" He hesitated. 3 years ago, their daughter went missing. My breath caught. They said she ran away, but the police searched everywhere. "Did they check the house?" His eyes shifted toward my roof. "They checked some of it." 6. The voice. That night, Hannah slept in Arav's room. I stayed awake in the living room. At 1:52 a.m., the attic door creaked open again. This time I didn't move. I listened. A slow, uneven breathing drifted down the hallway. Wet, close. Then I heard it, my own voice, whispering, "Daniel, My blood ran cold. It was perfect. My tone, my rhythm. Again. Daniel, come up. The voice cracked into something else halfway through, like two sounds layered together. I grabbed a flashlight and ran upstairs. The attic was dark, but I could hear something shifting, soft scraping. In the corner, I shined the light and saw movement. Something pale withdrawing into the shadows, too fast to see clearly. But it wasn't human. Its limbs bent wrong, too long. 7. The patch. The next morning, I brought a crowbar. I tore up the square patch in the attic. The wood splintered easily, as if it had been opened before. Underneath was soil, fresh, loose, and a smell so strong I gagged. I dug, just a few inches down, and my fingers touched fabric. A small sleeve, blue, child-sized. I couldn't breathe. I dug faster and uncovered a tiny arm, bones showing through skin. The police came within an hour. They uncovered the rest. It was her, the missing daughter, buried above her own bedroom. 8. It wasn't over. You'd think that would be the end. You'd think whatever haunted that attic would stop once the body was found. It didn't. The night after the police left, Arav woke up screaming. "There's dirt in my mouth," he cried. We rushed in. His lips were blackened with soil, his teeth packed with mud. He hadn't left his bed. The window was locked, the door closed. Hannah began sobbing. "We need to leave." But the house wasn't done with us. 9. The truth. The detective returned 2 days later. "There's something you should know," he said quietly. He handed me a file, photos, old reports. The missing girl had claimed, weeks before she vanished, that something lived in the attic. Her parents dismissed it, but neighbors reported strange digging noises long before she disappeared. And here's the part that made my knees buckle. The autopsy revealed she hadn't died 3 years ago. She'd died recently, within weeks. That meant something had been preserving her, or feeding on her. 10. The final night. We packed immediately, but the final night came faster than expected. At 2:13 a.m., all the lights in the house turned on, every single one. Doors slammed. The attic door burst open, and something fell from above. It hit the hallway floor with a wet thud. It was shaped like a person, but not fully. Its skin sagged like damp cloth. Its eyes were too large. Its mouth stretched wide, full of soil, and inside that soil were teeth, small, childlike. It opened its mouth and spoke in a chorus of voices. Mine, Hannah's, Arav's, and one more. A small girl's whisper. "Don't sleep." It lunged. The lights exploded. Everything went black. We woke up outside on the lawn, neighbors screaming. The house was on fire, burning from the attic down. The firefighters said faulty wiring, but I know better, because as the roof collapsed, I saw something standing in the flames, watching us, not angry, not sad, just waiting. We moved across the country after that. Arav doesn't speak much anymore. Sometimes at night I hear him whispering to someone, and last week I woke up at 2:13 a.m. to the smell of earth and the attic door in our new house slowly creaking open. Story 2. The crawl space beneath us. We weren't supposed to have a crawl space. The house inspection report clearly stated, "No accessible subfloor cavity." That sentence would replay in my head for months, because 2 weeks after moving in, I found the door. 1. The cheap house. We bought the house because it was cheap. Too cheap for a 4-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. Fresh paint, renovated kitchen, brand new flooring. The seller claimed he had flipped it after an estate situation. No details, no photos of before, just urgency. We moved in during late October. The air was dry. Leaves scratched against the windows at night. The first week was normal. The second week, the scratching didn't stop. 2. Under the kitchen. It started with a smell. Not rot, not gas. Just warm breath, like someone exhaling from inside the walls. I thought it was plumbing, until the night I dropped a spoon. It rolled under the lower kitchen cabinet. I knelt down to retrieve it, and noticed something strange. The baseboard beneath the cabinet wasn't nailed. It was attached with magnets. My stomach tightened. I pulled it off. Behind it was a small wooden hatch, about 2 feet high, painted over, hidden. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. When I finally did, a rush of cold air hit my face, and something else, a smell, sweat, and metal. 3. The space. The hatch led to a crawl space, barely tall enough to move inside. Dirt floor, wooden beams, pitch black, but there were marks in the dirt. Lines. Recent, as if something had crawled through. I told myself it was probably old, left over from construction, but then I saw it. A plastic water bottle, half full, clean, not dusty, not old, new. 4. We locked it. I didn't tell my wife, Mira, right away. I just closed the hatch, screwed it shut, placed a heavy cabinet in front of it. That night, I couldn't sleep. At 1:41 a.m., I heard it, a soft thump from under the kitchen, then scratching, slow, measured, moving. The cabinet creaked, as if something pressed against it from the other side. Mira woke up. "Did you hear that?" I lied. "Pipes." The scratching stopped, but I didn't sleep because I could hear breathing under the floor. 5. The camera. The next day, while Mira was at work, I opened the hatch again. The cabinet had shifted, just slightly. Inside the crawl space, the dirt was disturbed. The water bottle was gone. My pulse pounded in my ears. I crawled in. My phone flashlight barely cut through the darkness. About 6 feet in, I saw something nailed to a beam. A small camera, pointed toward the hatch. My hands began to shake. I followed the wire. It led deeper, further under the house, toward the bedrooms. 6. The whisper. That night, Mira told me something. She hesitated, then said quietly, "Last night, I heard someone whisper my name." My chest tightened. "What did it sound like?" She swallowed. "Like you." I didn't know what scared me more, the camera, or that 7, the realization. I called the police the next morning. They searched the house, found nothing. No entry points, no forced access, no footprints outside. One officer laughed. Probably old equipment from renovation. But I saw his face when he looked into the crawl space. He felt it too. That heaviness, like the air didn't belong to us. 8. The crawl. 3 nights later, I woke up to a sound directly beneath our bed. A dragging movement, slow, intentional, under us. Mira was asleep. I lay frozen. The sound stopped. Then, a soft knock. 3 taps. From under the floor. My throat closed. Then I heard it. My own voice, whispering. "Mira!" From below. She stirred, and answered half asleep. The floorboards creaked. Something shifted directly under her side of the bed. And then, silence. 9. I went down there. I couldn't take it anymore. The next day I bought a stronger flashlight and a bat. I opened the hatch. The smell was stronger now. Human. I crawled in further than before. 10 feet, 15. Then I saw it. A small area cleared out, like a nest. Blankets, food wrappers, empty bottles, and photographs of us. Printed, different angles, sleeping, watching TV, standing at the sink, taken from inside the house. My heart slammed violently against my ribs. Then I heard movement behind me, inside the crawl space. Closer to the hatch. Someone had entered. 10. Face to face. I turned slowly. The flashlight beam shook violently. And then I saw him. A man. Thin. Filthy. Eyes wide and reflective in the light. He was smiling. Too wide. His voice was cracked and dry. You weren't supposed to find it yet. I tried to crawl backward, but there was no space. He moved forward unnaturally fast. His limbs bent in ways that didn't look human in the tight space. I lived here first, he whispered. You're loud. He reached toward me, and the flashlight went out. 11. The escape. I don't remember how I got out. Adrenaline. Blind panic. I scrambled backward and burst through the hatch. Slammed it shut. Screamed for Mira. We ran outside barefoot. Called the police again. This time they found him. Deep in the crawl space. He had been living there for months. Possibly longer. The previous homeowner had known. That's why he sold so fast. But here's what the police couldn't explain. There was no external access point, no tunnel, no broken foundation, no way in, and no way out. 12. The interrogation. They arrested him, but during questioning he said something that still haunts me. There were others before you. Before me? The detective asked. Yes. In the walls. He started laughing. Said he didn't like being alone, so he made friends. When asked who the friends were, he looked confused. Can't you hear them? 13. Aftermath. We moved immediately, but here's the worst part. 2 weeks after we left, the new owners contacted us. They found the hatch. They found the nest. But the police record showed something impossible. The man had been in custody the entire time, since the night we called. Which means, when the new owners heard scratching, when they heard whispering, it wasn't him. 14. The call. Last night I received a call from an unknown number. I answered. There was only breathing, slow, wet, then a whisper. My voice, perfectly mimicked. You're loud. The line disconnected. I checked our new house immediately. No crawl space, no basement, concrete foundation, solid, safe. Right? At 1:41 a.m., there were 3 knocks from under our bed. Story 3, the house that was waiting. When we bought the house, it wasn't listed online. No photos, no public listing. Just a phone number written on a wooden board outside the gate. The house stood alone at the end of a narrow road. No neighbors in sight, just fields, dry grass, and silence that felt thick. The owner, a thin middle-aged man with hollow eyes, handed us the keys without much conversation. Why so cheap? I asked. He stared at me for a few seconds too long. It doesn't like to stay empty. I laughed. He didn't. 1. The layout that didn't feel right. The house was simple. 2 bedrooms, 1 study, a long hallway connecting everything. But something about the hallway bothered me. It felt longer at night, not visually, just longer. Like the walk from the bedroom to the kitchen took more steps after midnight. My wife Nana noticed it too. Did they stretch this place? She joked. We both forced a laugh. 2. The sound at 2:26 a.m. The first week was calm. Then on the 8th night, at exactly 2:26 a.m., I woke up. Not from noise, from alignment. That's the only way I can describe it. Like something in the house had clicked into place. Then I heard it. A door opening, slowly, from the study room. We kept that room locked. Nothing inside but dust and an old closet bolted to the wall. I checked my phone. 2:26 a.m. The hallway felt longer. The study door was open. 3. The closet. Inside the study, the air was colder. The closet door, which had been sealed shut when we moved in, was slightly ajar. A thin gap. Darkness inside. I stepped closer and heard breathing. Not loud, not aggressive, just steady, patient, from inside the closet. I slammed it shut and locked the study again. Told myself it was the house settling. Old wood, old pipes, old imagination. But at 2:26 a.m., the next night, the door opened again. 4. Naina's dream. Naina stopped sleeping properly after that. On the 10th night, she woke up crying. "There's a room behind the closet," she whispered. "What?" "In my dream. I opened it. There's another room, and something sits in the corner." "What does it look like?" She shook her head. "It doesn't move. It just waits." "For what?" "For us to notice it." 5. The wall measurement. The next day I did something practical. I measured the study wall. Then I stepped outside and measured the same section from the exterior. The inside wall was shorter, by almost 4 feet. There was space there. Hidden space. My mouth went dry. 6. We opened it. I don't know why we didn't leave right then. Curiosity is stronger than fear sometimes. I removed the closet doors. Behind them was drywall. Newer than the rest of the house. We cut into it. The smell that came out wasn't rot. It was stale air, like something had been sealed for decades. We widened the hole and saw it. A narrow doorway leading into a small hidden room. No windows, no furniture, just bare concrete. And in the corner, a single wooden chair facing the entrance. Empty, but indented, as if someone had been sitting there for a long time. 7. The photograph. On the floor beneath the chair was a photograph, black and white. A family of 3 standing outside the same house. The date written on the back, 1987. The husband's face was scratched out. The wife's eyes were circled in pen. The child looked exactly like Naina. Not similar. Exactly. Same mole near the lip. Same expression. My heart began hammering violently. "This isn't funny," she whispered. "It's not," I replied. Because on the back of the photo, beneath the date, were 3 words written in ink. She came back. 8. The first glitch. That night we didn't sleep. At 2:26 a.m., the house shifted again. But this time we saw it happen. The hallway stretched, not physically, but perceptually. The end seemed further away. The lights flickered, and from the hidden room, we heard the chair scrape across the concrete, slow, dragging, toward the doorway. Naina squeezed my hand so tight it hurt. The scraping stopped, right behind the study door. 9. The realization. We searched public records the next day. The house had been sold multiple times, every 7 to 10 years, always to families of 3, always with a daughter, and every time, the wife disappeared. No bodies found, no suspects charged, just missing. And the husbands? Institutionalized, claiming the same thing. There's someone sitting in the room. 10. It started with her. After that, Naina changed. She became distant, quiet. She would stand in the hallway at night, staring toward the study. One evening, I found her inside the hidden room, sitting on the chair, facing the wall. "Naina," I whispered. She slowly turned her head toward me. Her smile was too calm. "It's not a room," she said softly. "It's a waiting area." "For what?" "For the next version." I felt the temperature drop around us. 11. The truth, at 2:26 a.m. that night, I woke up alone. Naina wasn't in bed. The hallway felt endless. The study door was open. The hidden room light was on. I walked inside. The chair was empty. But on the wall in front of it, there was a mirror. There had never been a mirror before. I stepped closer and saw something that stopped my heart. My reflection wasn't alone. Behind me in the mirror, someone sat on the chair. A woman, her face half in shadow, watching me, waiting. I turned around. The chair was empty. But in the mirror, she stood up. 12. The swap. I don't remember falling. I don't remember screaming. But I woke up on the hallway floor. Morning light flooding through the windows. The house felt normal. Small, regular, manageable. Nana was in the kitchen making tea, smiling. "Bad dream?" she asked. I stared at her. She looked the same, but not quite. Her mole was gone. Her eyes felt deeper. "Did you go into the study last night?" I asked carefully. She tilted her head. "What study?" My blood ran cold. I rushed to the hallway. The study door was gone, just a blank wall. No seam, no outline, no closet, nothing. I ran outside, measured the wall again. This time, it matched perfectly. No missing space, no hidden room. 13, the final understanding. It took me 3 days to accept it. The house doesn't trap people, it replaces them. Every few years, it waits for someone who matches, someone compatible. It doesn't haunt, it exchanges. The woman in the mirror wasn't a ghost. She was the original, or maybe the previous version. And now she's back, living my life, sleeping in my bed, smiling at me like she knows something I don't. Because sometimes at exactly 2:26 a.m., Nana sits upright in bed, facing the wall, whispering softly, not to me, but to the empty space. "Almost ready." 14. Why I'm writing this. If you ever find a house that feels like it's waiting, if the hallway feels longer at night, if you discover space that shouldn't exist, leave immediately. Because once the house aligns with you, it doesn't chase you, it studies you. And when you finally notice it, you're already the replacement. Last night I woke up at 2:26 a.m. The hallway felt longer again, and for the first time, there was a second chair in the room, facing the first one.